I think this is it. I think this is where the DHL is. Looks like a government building now. That's weird. DHL 是不是在里面？
他现在改了，要从那边去。
哦，要在后面。
在后面。
怎么走？在里面。
你那边看一下，那里他店怎么走？他那边有。这里啊。
但是不是就是在里面这里吗？
在后面啊，但是这里不能过啊。
这样子。Okay, well, apparently I'm not allowed to go through that entrance. Man, it's really hot outside today. What's up, guys? Coming at you from Shenzhen. As usual, I just finished sending a package with DHL to Canada, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to talk to you a little bit about that. I'll talk to you a little bit about what's going on the ground here, whether things are getting back to normal, and just a general vlog update. And so what I'm going to do though is I'm going to start driving, but the video you're about to see is of my journey here, because there's more interesting roads. You can see a little bit more in the city areas. And now when I'm heading home, I'm going to take a more direct route with an underground tunnel, so there's not going to be much to see. So without further ado, let's cut to those clips of me driving here while I just had a little bit of a chat with you. Okay, actually what I'm going to do here before I cut to the video of the road is I will show you some quick clips of the DHL booth here. So when I arrived at the DHL booth, they don't let you into the building. They have tables outside where you scan a QR code and you basically put in the details of what you're shipping, when you're shipping it, and they'll bring the bill out. A security guard brings the bills out once in a while, and the packers outside, the guys who are packing your package up, they'll put it all together for you and ship it out, and you pay with WeChat outside. So they have some discounted rates also for sending certain equipment like goggles, masks, anything to do with this medical gear. They have really nice discounted rates. I think it's like around half price of what it usually is to ship stuff. So that's pretty cool. And so what you're going to see in terms of the driving footage, like I said, it was the footage from my journey to this DHL office in Shanghai. And it's not a particularly busy area of Shenzhen that I'm driving through. It's at the bottom area of Shekou. Bit of an expat area. Lots of expats live in the area, but not many offices. And it was Monday morning at about 10:30, so either people are already at work, not quite coming out for lunch yet, but the traffic I did see was more or less characteristic of what you'd expect during a Monday in and around that time. So that is, if anything, I would say 90%, you know, if it's not fully recovered, I'd say 90%. When I was at home, I was looking out over the Shenzhen Bay Park during the weekend, and the park looked really busy. There were a lot of people there. There were a lot of cars. It's a really busy road usually on the weekends. Traffic jams as usual. And again, if anything, I'd say fully recovered, if not 90% of the traffic, the volume of traffic you usually see. So things are looking pretty good. Kids still not going back to school. You know, they've been off since January 19th, and we're probably looking at another month before they go back to school again. So they've been going crazy at home. Well, we've been going crazy at home with 4 boys, you can imagine. They've been getting they've been doing classes by Zoom, a video conferencing software. They have their schedule that's sent to them at the beginning of the week, different teachers, depending on the subject they're studying, you know, music, science, math, whatever it is, Chinese, English. And then they get their homework assignments through another software where they can upload their responses or pictures of their finished work. My eldest is not very good at that at all. We're having a difficult time getting him to do all of his work. Their second son, a little bit better, but still, it's quite a handful. A lot of people in office jobs, they're going back to work already, and the restaurants and bars starting to open back up, but the traffic still just isn't there. The area that I'm driving in for the video that you're about to see, you're probably looking at now, down that area of Sheko, there's some businesses, some restaurants going out of business. A couple of the guys I know, one of them is selling, one of them is just outright shutting down. A French restaurant, they put out a WeChat post not too long ago saying that they were selling their equipment, they were offloading it. So it's pretty sad to see happening. Our own brew pub, very, very low volume right now. It's going to take a while to recover. You know, if we hang in there, maybe there's going to be an advantage because so many other people are kind of closing their doors that when the traffic does come back, there aren't as many choices, so we might pick up some extra traffic because of that. So that's a positive under negative circumstances. You know, obviously our business improving without having to improve at the expense of others would have been better. But again, it's probably still going to take a while to get traffic back anyways, back to where it was before. Everybody outside is still wearing masks. Shenzhen did release something a couple of weeks ago saying that if you're in areas outside and you're not really in crowded areas, you don't really need to wear masks anymore. But it's still pretty difficult to spot people not wearing masks. You know, this is going to totally change the habits of China in so many ways. So many people are going to be so aware of the spread of germs. People are probably going to be wearing masks more often during flu season, or if they themselves are sick. That was the real benefit of everyone wearing masks. It's a community effort. You know, there's a lot of dispute or debate, whatever you want to call it, surrounding the question whether they're effective or not. But it does prevent you from spreading germs, and considering that this spreads while you're asymptomatic, when everybody's wearing it, it becomes kind of a community protective effort. And of course, wearing a mask prevents you from touching your nose and mouth. It's a habit that many of us have that don't realize it until a time like this. You know, during my first few vlogs, when this really started heating up, I was reminded so many times by some of my subscribers saying, don't touch your face, don't touch your face. It's just so natural. Obviously, you have the officials in overseas countries, there's the videos making fun of them saying, make sure you don't touch your face. And then there's then they cut to them licking their finger to turn the pages. So it's a really difficult habit. You know, as much as we like to make fun of those people, we don't realize how much we do it ourselves too. So masks help in that regard. It's not like we haven't gone through stuff before, like with H1N1 in China before and all this stuff where people were really aware about stuff like this. But this is different this time. This is, everybody paid a price for this. Everybody suffered business-wise. Some people are losing their jobs. People are stuck at home with their kids who aren't able to go to school. And this is really going to be an experience that is ingrained into people's minds. So if there's anything that's going to change people's habits, this will be it. And I'm sure that's the case worldwide also. Not necessarily with wearing masks, because it seems like people are still pretty resistant to that idea in a lot of Western countries, but perhaps in other ways, maybe people being a little bit more vigilant with hand washing or stopping their habit of touching their face, whatever it may be. This is definitely going to change us. Other than that, being on the ground here, being cooped up for a really long time, of course it's frustrating. We've been doing what we can. Well, I signed up for a master class. We've been watching some really interesting master classes. I was watching the Chris Hadfield one with my son. I did we were watching the magic one, which was pretty good. The kids are really enjoying that, seeing Penn and Teller teach magic tricks. We're only a few episodes in, but I guess, these are things you can do with a little bit of the extra time. Make the most of it. The gyms, I don't think the gyms are open. I have a gym membership. I don't know if they're going to extend it because of how long they were closed, extend my membership. But pretty much all of my gains, I really got into kind of fitness and weightlifting last year, and all of my gains are gone. I'd like to blame it on this situation, but I started getting out of the habit of going to the gym probably a month before this happened. So now I just have an excuse. But that's the key, is I want to get back into that habit again, because once you build the habit, once I got into going to the gym for a year, nonstop, when you miss a day or you miss a couple of days, you feel bad about it and you're like, oh, I got to get back in the gym. And I've lost that feeling totally. And I remember listening to a podcast from The Hidden Brain on forming positive habits, and that's what it is. It's just about getting into a routine and building those positive habits. So that's a habit that I'm going to want to get back once everything is totally back to normal here, and once the kids are back in school. But yeah, in terms of vlogs, what to expect from me going forward, obviously I did the talk with the doctor, which I uploaded, what was it, yesterday or the day before yesterday, and it got some pretty good traction. I'm happy to see that, just like with my Cordell interview, because those are the formats I enjoy the most. I love sitting down with people and having these kinds of discussions with them. And I would always have these discussions with people even before I was making content, and I would always say, I wish people could hear this conversation. But I was aware of the possibility that maybe other people won't find this as interesting as I'm finding it. Is it really as interesting as I think? So it's been a really great experience to see that other people find these kinds of things interesting as well. So I'm going to do some more of those. I've got a couple of them planned. One with a guy from California, a Chinese American, where I want to talk to him about a topic of the xenophobia, racism, whatever you want to call it, that's going on overseas with kind of Chinese being targeted, especially because I've been getting a lot of messages from people in regards to being really concerned right now, or kind of like concerning messages about them even saying they're kind of giving up hope. And so I want to see if I can put something together positive with some ideas, some ways to get through this, some ways to look at this, or just how to cope with what's going on right now. And I do have some ideas, so I'm gonna discuss that with that particular guy who I want to get on a call with. There's a few others also that are completely unrelated to the current situation, which I really want to have a few other discussions, and I'm contemplating whether I should do it or not, because if I do it, maybe people just aren't really interested in that. They want to focus on content related to the situation that we're going through right now. And on the other hand, I'm thinking maybe it's a nice distraction to have a conversation completely unrelated to this as well. So those are some other things I'm thinking of doing. And yeah, I'm going to have a mix of, so now some of you guys know I have a podcast now, so there's going to be a mix of podcast content and video content. Some people, when they saw that I did a few days in a row of podcast content, they asked, hey, am I going to be doing videos anymore? I will still do videos, but there's going to be a mix in between the two. The podcast will be uploaded to the podcast platforms, and I'll also put it on YouTube with a static image, or sometimes cut to the news clips I'm talking about, or videos that I'm referring to. The last few ones I just did an image, and somebody pointed out to me that I had uploaded a 60 frames per second video with a static image, which answers the question as to why the heck were those files so big when I was uploading them to YouTube. So that's something I'm going to correct in the next few episodes. So on my actual drive that I'm doing now, not the video that you're seeing, I am almost home. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to stop here, and I probably have a couple. I might still be doing the live stream with the 3 other YouTubers that I usually do every Saturday. We haven't been keeping them online. It was a group decision to just keep it a live stream that people can tune into. I know that's inconvenient for some people who can't make the time, so we're going to try to play around with different time slots also. And then what I might do, if you guys are interested, I might do some live streams on my own as well, where I just answer some questions and I go through some of the news or some of the things I found interesting. So let me know if you're interested in that. I'm going to wrap it up here. So stay safe, take all the precautions you guys should be taking during this time. Stay sane is a new thing I should add to my little ending note here, now that a lot of you are going to be cooped up at home just like we were. And I will see you guys in the next video. Peace.